First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Business World Education for giving me this opportunity to speak on a very short notice. Yesterday, I got a call from my head office, ICFAI Society, Hyderabad, that tomorrow morning you have to be there in Delhi to deliver a speak in this particular gathering. First, I was a little bit reluctant, thinking that tomorrow I have an international conference which we are organizing, where we got 1,300 research papers from 20 different countries. Out of that, 900 research papers were desk rejected. So we will have a presentation of 200 research papers, online and offline, for next 2 days. So I was thinking how I will be able to reach to this gathering, but I decided no, because if the society has called me, ICFAI Society is having 11 universities and 9 B schools in Pan-India. And Dehradun campus is the nearest campus to Delhi. So any such events happens, I need to give my presentation to the Delhi related activities. So really this is a great opportunity for me, and the topic given is a very close to my heart: reimagining the engineering education, bridging academia, industry and innovation. And I have been given only 10 minutes time to speak. So without spending much of the time, I should directly come to the topic. Reshaping the engineering education is very, very important. And I also wish to discuss previous 2 keynote speakers and the opening address by Dr. Anurag Batra and Madam Sonal Goyal, and followed by Professor K.K. Pant, Director IIT Roorkee. They have given a quite comprehensive idea on the entire theme of the 2 days deliberations. I shall be touching in a very certain specific aspect of reshaping the engineering education for the future country like India. It's a very, very essential. So while I was traveling from Dehradun to Delhi, on the way we were seeing the board of universities like Core University, Quantum University, and then I was thinking about the name of all these universities. Core University, other time we were there in a meeting, we were discussing core branches of engineering. If you see, the civil engineering by which IIT Roorkee is the known most important campus of the country, and Professor Pant was telling that this campus is as old as 100 years plus. And initially it was known more as a university rather than IIT. IIT, it has become recently, and its founder director, Professor Prem Bharat, with whom I was working very closely for past 10 years or so, he used to talk about this transition journey of converting the IIT Roorkee as a university campus to IIT campus, how challenging it was. So presently, in the present context, the kind of the new knowledge which is evolving globally, the core branches has not become relevant, and if you see, lot of the admission has gone down in the engineering colleges in the core branches, like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. These branches are in the verge of closure in so many colleges and universities around the country. So do you think the content in these branches which are there are not relevant for the society? Is there a lesser construction of the building? Is there a lesser construction of the bridges? Is there a lesser construction of the highways and metros? So why there is a necessity of the civil engineers are not there? we should ask this question. This is a very genuine question need to be asked. Why everybody is running behind the computer science without bothering what kind of the job they are going to get? And the technology like AI which is coming, even the coding can be done by the AI tools. So where the coder job will be there? Where these computer scientists will go? These are the bigger questions which we should ask ourselves, and how we should reshape the engineering education so that it can sustain in the future is the bigger question. For example, way back in 1985, when I used to be a student in BITS Pilani, I was the topper in UP board, so I got the opportunity to study in BITS Pilani, and I completed my 4 degrees from there. Dual degree, which I got in 5 years, Masters and BTech, along with Masters and PhD, and then I became a professor in BITS Pilani. And then I got the opportunity to work globally nearly 15 years in all major continents. And I came back to India and joined a Vice Chancellor position in Dehradun, campus of ICFA University. So whenever I compare the Indian education, I always compare the global education. We have adopted the US Accord 10 years back, thinking that we are going to convert our engineering education comparable to American education and the Western education. We have brought into the new education policy, NEP 2020, which is the major best academic practices has been taken from the American education system. Like all the programs should be converted as a 4 years degree program. There should be a semester system. Should be a GPA system and CGPA system. There should be academic bank of credits so that lateral entry and can be taken care of. Multiple exit re-entry options can be taken care of. Lot of academic flexibility can be brought into. Lot of academic autonomy can be brought into. These are the major pillars of the new education policy 2020. So we have the major challenges of how to implement the new education policy in the country, keeping in mind the maintaining the relevance of the branches which are becoming obsolete. I remember whenever I used to study the survey as a civil engineer, that time we typically use the theodolites, tachometer, plane table survey, and so on. And when I progressed and researching in different countries, including USA, Japan, Europe, and working in different universities, I nearly used to satellite imageries for the spatial and temporal modelings. I remember I used to work on the GCM model. I also written the report for IPCC climate change. I worked in the group of Dr. R.K. Pachauri, who was heading the IPCC team in Delhi. In TERI, I was there for 4 years. So we used to write on the GCM circulation model. Even he got the Nobel Peace Prize for the IPCC committee. And I was having the opportunity to work with him. And so many Delhi Sustainable Development Summits, World Sustainable Development Summits. So gathering vast knowledges in the different paradigm, I strongly feel the education system of engineering branches should be revamped to make the relevant for the future demands. The same time we are talking about the skill-based job, we are talking about the unemployment problems in the country, and we are talking so many other issues without addressing the major concerns of revamping and reshaping of the engineering education. All these branches need to be there, all these branches are relevant, and their practical use will be there only and only if we are going to revamp the courses and deliver the courses as per the need of the 21st century knowledge education requirement. I remember couple of weeks back, I was there in IIT Roorkee to assess their research infrastructure on behalf of NABET and Quality Council of India, Government of India. I visited to different labs, which Professor Pant was just talking right now, to assess what is the research infrastructure of IIT Roorkee. Under the STEM scheme, we have prepared a portal for the country as a whole, where the rare experiments which are not available in the different institutions and the universities, under STEM portal, they can, research scholar can register themselves and can go and do those experiments on the affordable price. That is the whole objective of the STEM portal. But I wonder how many of you are aware with this? How many research scholars are aware with this? How many people are getting benefited out of this? These are the challenges for the country. Many a time we are talking about the quality research just for fetching the good grade in the accreditation like NAAC and so many other national accreditations. You might have also seen what are the things happened in the NAAC accreditations in the recent past. Will these things will improve the education quality in the country? No. If we are working for the quality parameters, we have to work in the real sense. We are talking about the interdisciplinary research, we are talking about the multidisciplinary research, we are talking about the transdisciplinary research. Did we have created a right kind of the research ecosystem for this kind of the things? Do we understand the meaning of multidisciplinary research? Big question mark. All the promoters who sets the engineering colleges and the universities, first they should understand what is the meaning of multidisciplinarity. What are the programs they should brought into. For example, way back in 60s when Birla ji has opened, Ghanshyam Das Birla ji has opened the BITS Pilani campus in Rajasthan. That time he collaborated with the MIT USA, world #1 institute of this world, with the vision that BITS Pilani will be the #1 institute of this country and in the world. This was his vision when he opened that particular institute. He directly collaborated with the MIT. MIT professor used to come in BITS Pilani campus to teach the courses. They designed the courses. They have designed the university-industry linkage programs and they have implemented those things in the real sense. That time our UGC and the higher education of the various states, they were not understanding the meaning of even what is the dual degree all about. What is the integrated degree all about? Even I was wondering as a student how it is possible to get the 2-degree MSc as well as BTech in 5 years. There is science behind that. Now IITs are also running dual degree programs. And IITs are also running integrated degree program which came after BITS Pilani. Now the UGC is able to understand 30 years, 40 years later what is the meaning of dual degree and integrated degree. Now they are talking positively about this. Otherwise they were also raising the question, how come you can give 2 degrees in 5 years? The idea is simple. For BTech degree, for MSc degree, the foundation is same. So you can save the time. In teaching the foundation courses, you need not to repeat those things. These kind of the thinking, visionary thinking processes need to be brought into the place while we are designing the program, while we are designing the educational policies, while we are adopting the best educational policies, while we are opening the engineering colleges, while we are opening the universities. First, we should brainstorm for a couple of years what we are willing to achieve for ourselves and for the country as a whole. Then we should lay the foundation to establish the institution and the programs. Then those ideas last long. If we are opening this kind of the educational setups just for the monetary region, they will not last long. Why Pilani campus is not disappearing and growing day after day? Now they have 6 campuses in the country. They started with 1 campus in the Pilani. And all campuses have the similar kind of the quality. For that matter, even I give the credit to the Manipal Group of Educations, MIT Group of Educations, SRM groups, and VIT groups. So many private institutions are coming which are the future for this country. And mind that 90% of the education system in the higher education system is given by the private institution in this country. They are the future for the country. So whenever we are talking for the policies, reshaping of the courses, reshaping of the programs, reshaping of the best academic practices, we should do this kind of the meeting, we should do this kind of the gathering, brainstorming. We should see what are the best practices are there around the globe. Like me, everybody is not there in the audience who got the opportunity to work globally. Not only NAC and NIRF, I work for the ABET. So before joining as a Vice Chancellor, I was there 6 years in the King Khalid University in Saudi Arabia. They follow the American education system. They follow the ABET accreditations. They spend 9% of their GDP in the education sector. You ask this country how much percentage of GDP we are spending on the education. Less than 1%. So there is a lot of scope to invest in the higher education system. Talking this kind of the things will not bring the quality in education in the country. Anything need to be listed black and white. It should be brought into the practice for the better quality of the education. And I am very happy to tell that present gross enrollment ratio is close to 25%. And by 2030, we are aiming to make the gross enrollment ratio of this country close to 50%. This means 1,200 universities which are there in the country, including central universities, state universities, private universities, need to be doubled in the times to come. So all kind of the infrastructure also need to be doubled. Faculty, teaching staff, professors. Sometimes I feel very pity, very sad while I sit in the interview panels and interview the faculty members. Sometimes days after days interviewing among 30 to 40 applications, 1 or 2 candidates we find relevant. This again raises the question of the quality. If we want to become a Vishwaguru, if we want to become our educational as part of the Western education, we have to go long way. We have to invest lot of on the quality parameters. We have to work very hard in these areas. So now coming to some more important points like challenges related to integrating the 17 SDG goals into the higher education. 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are indices for the development of a nation. If we are able to integrate those practices in the higher education, we are going to address so many problems related to future, including climate change, poverty alleviations, green technology, green energy, energy efficiency, per capita income, and so many other things we can address in the times to come. So there is a challenge how we can integrate the 17 SDG goals in the higher education. Other day I was discussing in the meeting where the UGC chairman was also there, NAC director was also there, NCT director was also there. The same question I raised and I was seeking the answer from the policy makers. But I am not waiting for the answers. Rather, this I have implemented in my university. More than 100 plus PhD research scholars who are working in the university, we have advised them, we have guided them, we have mentored them whenever you are selecting your broad area of research, select in a manner so that at least one SDG goals you can address. And I am very happy to tell that 124 Scopus research paper which came, 90 of the papers are addressing the SDG goals. So this is the innovative ideas by which we can address so many things in the higher education. So respecting the time, I close my discussion here, but this topic is very close to my heart. We can have a conferences on this topic, we can have the workshop on this kind of the topic, we have day-long discussions, and I am very thankful to the business world for organizing this event and giving me the opportunity to talk. Thank you so much.